For days now they had been flying, 30,000 wings over a world that kept turning colder. The gardens were long behind them. The soft wind they had grown up in had turned to knives. And the birds who were raised on sweetness were beginning to learn that the road they had begged for was not sweet at all. If you are new here, let me catch you up in a single breath. Once, every bird in the world gathered to choose a king and tore each other apart instead. Then, one plain little bird, the hoopoe, told them the truth. The king is real. He lives past the edge of the world, and the road to him will cost everything. And still, 30,000 of them rose into the sky. Now they were flying that road, and one by one, it was beginning to break them. They began coming to the hoopoe at the front of the flock, one by one, each with a reason to be let go. And the very first to land before the guide, smoothing his bright feathers, clearing his famous throat, was the parrot. The whole flock went quiet to hear him, because if the parrot was turning back, what hope was there for the rest? Of all of them, everyone had expected the parrot to lead. The most beautiful, the most clever, the one with the golden voice that kings kept close, and the whole world came to hear. And he was the first to break. "Guide," the parrot began, and his voice was honey. "You must understand who I am. I am not like these others. I come from the warm lands, the far gardens of India. My whole life, the great ones of the world have kept me close. They built me a cage of gold and hung it in their finest rooms. When their hearts were heavy, they came to me, and my words made them laugh again. Soft hands fed me by the beak. I was raised on sugar and sweet fruit. I have never been cold. I have never been hungry. I have never once tasted the bitterness this road is full of. So, look at me honestly and tell me, how could a creature like me survive out there? I am made for the warm room and the golden bars. Let me go home." The hoopoe did not answer right away. It just looked at him with those still eyes until the parrot grew uncomfortable. "You said it yourself," the hoopoe finally murmured. "They built you a cage, and you call that a blessing." "A blessing," the parrot repeated, ruffling. "I was treasured. Kings wept at my voice. Beautiful women held a mirror to me so I could see how fine I was. Is that not a life well spent?" And here, the hoopoe said the thing that changed the air on the whole field. "Listen to yourself," it said. "Every word you have spoken is about you. Your voice, your beauty, your fame, your comfort. You have not asked one question about the king. You came here to be excused, and you dressed it up as eloquence, and you mistook the dressing for the truth. You are not in love with the king, parrot. You are in love with yourself. That mirror they held up to you, you never put it down. You have been staring into it your whole life, and a soul that can only look at its own reflection has no eyes left to see anything greater than itself." The parrot opened his beak to argue and found, for the first time in his life, that he had nothing clever to say. "Your clever words," the hoopoe went on, gentler now, "are not wisdom. They are the bars of your cage, painted gold. You have built a prison so beautiful that you defend it as if it were freedom. And the saddest part is this: the door was never locked. You stay because you cannot imagine being anything other than admired. "Let me tell you about a man I once saw," the hoopoe said. "And when I finish, you will know exactly what your life has been worth." A man once stepped into the middle of a crowd, dressed as someone who had it all figured out. The kind of man people believe has touched the secret of the good life and wants the whole world to watch him live it. And he performed. A perfect word for this one, a flash of brilliance for that one. Stories of how far he had come, little displays of how wise, how special, how blessed his life was. And the people loved him. They pressed their money into his hands. They gave him their applause. For every clever performance, a reward. He spent his whole life this way, gathering crowds by looking like a miracle, and he believed he was rich. Then one day, someone real walked through that crowd. A person who had actually built the thing the other only performed. He looked at the man for a long moment, and he said one thing: "Open your bag. Show me everything you have truly earned." The man opened it, and inside there was nothing but filth. A lifetime of performance, and the bag was full of rot. The man burned with shame. And then the traveler did something strange. He bent down, took a single handful of plain dust and pebbles off the ground, and pressed it into his hands. "Here," he said, "live on this." The man looked down. The dust had turned to gold. The pebbles were rubies and pearls glowing in his palm. He looked up to fall at the traveler's feet, but the traveler was already gone. "Do you understand now?" the hoopoe said, turning back to the parrot. The treasure was never in the performance. The fraud spent his whole life earning a bag of filth. Real gold appeared in an instant, out of nothing, in the hand of someone who was real. Your golden voice, your fame, your mirror, that is the costume. And the king you will not walk toward is the only hand in the world in which dust becomes gold. The parrot was silent for a long time. When he spoke again, the honey was gone from his voice. "Then tell me the truth," he said quietly. "Why am I really afraid?" "Because deep down," the hoopoe said, "you never wanted the king. You wanted to stay exactly as you are, admired, comfortable, safe, forever. You would take 1,000 years in that cage over one dangerous day of becoming something more. But hear the law of the road, parrot, and it does not bend for anyone. You cannot meet the king and stay who you are. The road does not only ask for your time or your comfort, it asks for the one thing you are guarding most. It asks for the small, shining self you keep in the mirror. You would have to be willing to lose it. And you, who has never lost anything, would rather keep your beautiful little life unchanged until the quiet day it ends, than risk it on something real. And every bird on that field felt the words land, because every one of them knew that fear by its own private name. For a long moment, the parrot said nothing at all. He looked back the way he had come, toward the warm rooms and the golden bars and the soft hands that had fed him his whole life. Then he looked ahead at the cold road where the others were already fading into the dark. The hoopoe did not push him. It had said everything it came to say. It only spread its wings and rose, and turned its face toward the edge of the world. The door of every cage is open, it said, not looking back. It always was. Some birds spend their whole lives singing about the sky and never once notice they were free to fly into it. And then the guide was in the wind, and the flock lifted after it, thinner now, climbing toward a far point of gold where the dark land met the darker sky. What the parrot did in the end, the old poet never tells us. He only leaves him there, at the edge of the warm light, with the door open and the road waiting, exactly where the story found him. And ahead of the others, the road stopped speaking gently. The gardens were gone, the excuses were spent, and the first of 7 valleys had opened its mouth to receive them. The first valley does not take excuses. It takes everything.